Hi, and welcome to Rick Force Outpost. In my last video, I made a small rebel encampment in a lush plain. The idea behind this was that I would get practice with foliage techniques like grass, I'd get some practice with mud and path detailing, and just overall nature builds I haven't really been able to do before. And so today, I want to draw that all together into a larger build. And so I have some 501st clones, which are going to have a pretty big base in a grassy plain. And then I have some battle droids and a spider droid that are going to make a small patrol that's sort of attacking the clone base as they come across it. So this should give me, basically I want to use all these foliage techniques again, but on a bigger surface to see how they come together when it's more spread out and there's a lot more volume. And so I'm really excited to get started with this. I've had this idea for this clone base in my head for a while, and I'm really excited to use all these new techniques, and hopefully you're excited too. So, let's build. Alright, so I'm going to be building on a 48 by 48 base plate here. And for the border, I'm using this black brick and tile like I've done in all the other builds. It does leave on this build a little gray peeking through from this base plate underneath. But I've tried some other combinations with like black plate and headlight brick to get a siding, but it didn't really work how I wanted it to. So I'm just going to be using this for now. So I'm going to get the black siding done. I want to get some structure for the plates underneath, and then I can start working on the main part of the MOC. Alright, so I've gotten a lot done. I've done a lot of plating here, and I've just got to fill in the gaps. This gray is I'm going to put a more path and less grassy stuff here right outside the base entrance. I have two craters. One is going to be on the droid's side, and one is going to be on the clone side right up against the wall of the base. And I've started adding a little sort of pond or water outlet over here for coming out of the clone base. And so I need to finish up filling in all this green, and I'm also going to start working on the main base outline so I can see how that is coming together. Alright, so I've made some good progress. I've sort of added this sort of explosion hole where the spider droid weapon has detonated, and I've worked a lot more on the wall of the base and got a lot more of the grass basin. And what I want to do is I want to sort of finish up this main wall of the base and then finish up the exterior a little more. And this spot here is what I'm going to use for this door. And so how I made this door is I took one of these spring launchers, I put it on a dark gray plate, and then 2 dark gray 2x1s, and then a light gray 2x1, and then a tile here. And then I have 2 of these, and when I slide them in here in this gap, they make a really cool looking door. So that's what I'm going to use for this door. I want to finish this up and try and get most of this main grassy area all finished off so it looks a lot smoother. Alright, so I've finished plating this all off. I've finished up the outside of the base. And the next thing I'm going to do is try and finish up this interior part of the base. I'm going to cover all these snot bricks that I added with like some more detailing. And I think I'm also going to try and put a roof on the base maybe. Or I might just leave it empty. I'll sort of figure that out as I go along. But I think a roof would make it look a lot more finished. And then of course, I'll start filling this all in with some more grass pieces. So that's where I'm headed next. Alright, so I've sort of finished this part up and I'm working my way to the grass over here. I'm going to have the spider droid sort of here with a little empty patch of grass behind it, and then this stuff will continue on the sides, like the spider droids cut a path. And then I'm going to have the battle droids here, and I'm going to start getting all the minifigures set up and everything, and I'll start putting all this grass down here. And then I am going to do a roof back here, so I'll start working on that segment too. I might put like this gun or some satellites up there. But most of the base is done, and I'm just going to work on the outside and then finish up the roof. Alright, so I've pretty much finished up this grass area here. It still looks a little too plain, so I'm going to use these and these to spruce it up and make it look a little more wild, but pretty much done out here. And then I want to do the interior of the clone base, and then we'll pretty much be done and ready to add the minifigures. I did make this roof segment separately. It was just a lot of trial and error and making sure to get all these dimensions right, but I do really like how it turned out. I've got a little gun and antenna with the little controls over here as like a defensive thing. I've got some vents, some piping over here that I really like, and then just antennas and little radio. And I do have like a little, I guess, like manhole cover or something if people want to come out to the roof. But I have finished this up and tiled it all off. And then it just goes right on top here. I think it looks really good. I wasn't sure if it would look clean, but I really like how it turned out. And so, yeah, we're gonna finish this up, finish up the interior, and then we'll pretty much be done with this. Alright, so I've pretty much finished up here, and overall I think it turned out really good. Like this grass overall, I think it looks really wild and pretty realistic. I really like how that came out. I also like how this little water area and the path, I think that turned out a lot better than I was expecting. One thing I would sort of fix or do better if I did this again was maybe this crater over here looks a little too blocky and choppy. I'd really like to smooth that up. And the same with this one, although not so much. You can't really tell because it's up against the wall. But those are two things I'd change if I could. But overall, I think this looks really good. I also really like how this roof came out. A lot better than I was expecting. I've said multiple times, I think. But I just really like that. I think the base looks really good, really polished, really clean. I like that. And so, I think if we just start going around, I've got my spider droid and then battle droids up here, and one battle droid sort of blown up in a crater. Over here we've got the hole in the wall that a spider droid has sort of shot through. Got a little aqueduct, or I guess like sewer or something, draining water out the side. And then up on the roof we've got sort of a little cannon, bunch of vents and piping, and then sort of a sniper up here, and another guy directing him. And then if we turn it around a minute to back here, you can see all in here, and I will take the roof off. And we've got a little gun rack with some backpacks here, little workstation with an officer and another officer over here. More controls. Over here I've got this crate. I've got a little medic and an injured clone over here, and one last clone on the inside of the explosion still fighting back here. Yeah, I think the interior also turned out really well. I think, actually it's really cool, I think how it's sunken into the ground here. I had planned for that, but I think it turned out really nice because it allowed me to add these sort of stairs going up, and it puts it at a different level from the rest of the MOC, which I think gives it some interesting depth. So, really like that. But overall, I think this turned out really well. All the foliage practice, I think, in the previous MOC really helped pull this one together. I think it really looks really good. I really like it, and I'm proud of it. So Thanks for watching.